For 20 years, the real question hanging over international football was never, can anyone stop Messi? It was, what actually happens the one time somebody finally does it? On the biggest stage there is, in what's almost certainly his very last World Cup. On Sunday night in New Jersey, we got the answer. And it wasn't a miracle tackle, and it wasn't luck. It was a plan, built weeks in advance, and carried out with almost mechanical precision by a Spain team that had very clearly done its homework. This is the story of how Spain actually solved the Messi problem. Welcome to Football Detailing, and let's get started. Let's start with what Spain's captain, Rodri, actually said before a ball was even kicked, because it turned out to be almost exactly what happened. In an interview with the Spanish paper Diario AS, days before the final, Rodri laid out a surprisingly simple two-part plan. First, keep him away from the box, he said. And second, when we inevitably have to defend, be closer to him, be more aggressive, maybe not sit back as much. That's really it. No secret formation, no mystery tactic hiding underneath it. Just take away the one thing Messi has always needed more than anything else: room, and don't give him a second of it once he actually gets close to goal. Rodri didn't stop there either. He tied that plan straight into Spain's whole identity as a team. We're a team that presses forward to force our opponents to play backward, he said, and I think that's the key to Sunday's match. Notice what that plan doesn't include, by the way. No single defender assigned to shadow Messi everywhere he goes, the way plenty of teams have tried and failed to do for the better part of 2 decades now. Spain's actual answer was smarter than that, and far more of a group effort. According to reporting from Sports Illustrated after the match, it took Alex Baena, Marc Cucurella, Aymeric Laporte, Fabian Ruiz, and Rodri himself, all working together, not just to mark Messi physically, but to actively block the passing lanes leading to him, so getting the ball to his feet in the first place became close to impossible. Hard to dribble past 5 defenders when the ball never even reaches you to begin with. And here's the part that actually makes this different from every other stop Messi plan teams have tried since 2005. Spain didn't set up to defend for 90 minutes and just hope he got frustrated. They went the other way entirely. They attacked from the very first whistle. Reports out of the final describe Spain as the only team genuinely interested in attacking from the start, dominating the game in pretty much every meaningful sense except, agonizingly, for a long stretch, the one that counted. That's a subtle detail, but it matters. Real Messi suffocation isn't just about denying him space near his own goal. It's about starving Argentina of the ball entirely, so Messi spends the whole match chasing possession instead of receiving it somewhere dangerous. Keep the ball away from Argentina long enough, and you've effectively kept it away from Messi too, without ever needing one player glued to him the whole match. Now, none of this on its own guarantees a trophy, and the actual match proved just how fine that margin really was. 90 minutes came and went scoreless. Spain had been the better side for most of it, but that finishing touch simply wasn't landing. Argentina, to their credit, weren't just sitting back either, and Emiliano Martinez was doing everything humanly possible to keep his side alive, finishing the match with 11 individual saves, a genuinely extraordinary performance in a losing effort. Then, midway through the second half, the whole game tilted. Enzo Fernandez picked up a second yellow and was sent off, leaving Argentina to play out the rest of the match and all of extra time with 10 men. Even down a man, Argentina somehow held on all the way into extra time, but eventually, in the 106th minute, the breakthrough Spain had been building toward the whole match finally came. Lamine Yamal floated a cross into the box. Nico Williams rose and headed it back across goal. And substitute Ferran Torres met it with a volley that finally beat Emiliano Martinez, sealing a 1-0 win. Sit with how fitting that goal actually was for a second. It wasn't one flash of individual brilliance cutting through a set defense. It was patient, collective build-up, exactly the kind of football Spain had been playing the whole match, finally paying off in the very last stretch they had left. Once the full picture of the tournament came into view afterward, it became obvious just how dominant Spain's defense had been all summer, not only in this one final. They finished the competition with a record 7 clean sheets, conceding a single goal across the entire tournament. 1 goal in 7 matches, against some of the best attacking talent on the planet, Messi included. That's not a defense that got a little lucky on one particular Sunday. That's a system that had quietly been suffocating everyone it faced for over a month straight, and Messi just happened to be the last name on the list. The individual awards that followed only backed the story up further. Rodri, Spain's captain and the architect of that pre-match plan, was named the tournament's Golden Ball winner as the best overall player at the World Cup, denying Messi that particular honor. It capped a genuinely remarkable comeback for Rodri, who'd needed real time to work his way back from a serious ACL injury before this tournament even started. Winning the World Cup on top of that recovery made him just the 11th man in football history to hold the World Cup, the Champions League, and the Ballon d'Or. Messi, for his part, had to settle for the silver ball, second best player of the tournament, in what's almost certainly the final World Cup appearance of his career. Kylian Mbappe, meanwhile, claimed the Golden Boot outright with 10 goals, pushing his career World Cup tally to 22, and passing Messi to become the format's all-time leading scorer, though that particular record actually got settled a day earlier, in the third-place match, not the final itself. Here's the part that's easy to miss underneath all this tactical detail though. Rodri never once talked about Messi with anything but genuine respect, even while explaining exactly how he planned to shut him down. Messi speaks for himself, he said in that same interview. But beyond the individual accolades, his career speaks for him. So many years at the top level. To reach, I don't know how old he is now, 39, in that kind of form, and still be the best player at the World Cup, is incredible. That's a rare thing to hear in football, honestly. An opponent building an entire defensive game plan specifically around stopping one man, while at the same time admitting the plan only exists because that man is still this dangerous at 39, in his 6th World Cup, on the losing side of the final. So how did Spain actually pull this off? Not with one flash of magic, and not by asking a single player to somehow do the impossible on his own. They solved it with patience, with a coordinated defensive shape that cared more about denying him the ball entirely than marking him man-to-man, and with a team confident enough in its own attacking game to spend 90 minutes plus extra time trying to win the match on their own terms, rather than just trying to survive Messi's. It still took a red card, 11 saves from Emiliano Martinez, and a goal in the 106th minute to actually get it done. But the blueprint itself was exactly what Rodri had already described days before a ball was even kicked. Keep him away from the box, and make sure the ball almost never gets to him in the first place. Simple enough to say out loud. Brutally difficult to actually pull off against the greatest player of his generation, on the very last stage he'll ever get to play on. Spain managed it anyway. If you enjoyed this breakdown of how Spain actually pulled off stopping Messi on the biggest stage in football, make sure you're subscribed to Football Detailing for more tactical deep dives like this one. And let me know in the comments what you think Messi's real legacy from this tournament actually is.